Speaking of Rollins, Wyatt, what'd you think of Raw tonight?
Well, it started off pretty okay in my opinion. I thought the brawl, the Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar was something a lot of us have wanted to see. I think it was no Undertaker Brock Lesnar brawl. If you remember that nice fucking battle they had that went to the backstage, I think they should have let it go a little bit more extreme. There was some missed punches there in that little fight that they had. It didn't seem that intense. If I would correct me if I'm wrong, DT. Um, Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar in a lot of ways is a dream match for a lot of people. I mean, granted, probably would have been meant a lot more about 10 years ago in their prime. They're in the latter part of their prime. If anyone wants to correct me on that, they're not exactly in their prime. They're in the late stages of their prime. Like I said, the pull apart was okay, but they should have let it get a little more extreme. Maybe go backstage or really, connect a few more punches. It was kind of lame. I mean, the kick to Brock Lesnar was the only thing that really landed when they were on the mat. Other than that, Drifter impressed me again. I thought his match with Dean Ambrose was really good. So, I mean, the beginning of it, but then it kind of faltered again. And I saw a lot of super ultra criticism of Raw Online. I think it was better than the last few weeks, but it wasn't maybe a C minus. I don't know if you want to give it a rating.
I can't give it a rating because every Raw, every SmackDown, every Impact, it has its good points. It has its bad points.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, the beginning started out. This is what we all tuned in to see. They opened up the Raw the right way, having Brock come out. We knew that was going to happen. Having him and Joe, the pull apart. But then it kind of just, once again, I'm getting into the Elias Sampson thing. I could picture anybody want to walk with Elias eventually when he gets over. It could probably be a big catchphrase. His match with Dean Ambrose, I thought was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't really understand the Miz interfering. I don't kind of get it because doesn't Miz have the title now? So what is he bothering Dean Ambrose for?
It's just the same thing as what Bray and Seth Rollins are doing. They're just trying to figure out opponents for the next pay-per-view.
I'm just saying,
that's really what it is.
He got the belt. What is he bothering Dean for?
I mean, no pun. Actually, pun intended. I couldn't bear to watch Dean Ambrose with that fucking segment today. It was just, like I said on Twitter, Heath Slater's got his catchphrase, "I got kids." Well, yeah. I got remotes. And I fucking used the remote several times tonight on fucking Raw. I fucking watched the news. I watched part of the baseball game. I watched part of the draft. Hearing Bayley, say that she wants to reclaim the women's division. I mean, and now they're trying to do the, weirdness factor with the hugs. And, and then we also got fucking why they have Tozawa next to, I know Tozawa's a cruiserweight, and I know it's 205 live, but Jesus, if you're going to put Tozawa up against anybody on the roster, you don't put him against a fucking gigantic, muscular, infit Apollo Crews and an even bigger Titus O'Neil. We saw that Father's Day commercial with fucking Titus O'Neil with his kids. I thought that was Tozawa sitting on the right. He's like Hornswoggle and fucking Tajiri and Wesley Snipes all rolled up together. He looks fucking tiny. He was standing up next to, look at the segment again where he's standing up when he's got the first row ticket. And he's shorter than some of the fucking kids sitting front row. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. There was parts of tonight that I did not like. I mean, Dana Brooke, lemon drop, I call it now. Everybody cutting promos. WWE has a dilemma with Emma because she came out to no reaction. She actually loses tonight instead of trying to start her off with like a little bang and a little bit of fire. I don't think she needed to eat the pin tonight. And not only that, kudos to the fucking WWE writer / producer that actually had the ability. When we do pay-per-view predictions contests on Patreon, which we will do this Sunday also, it's very hard to get every match predicted wrong, even if you tried. But kudos to the fucking WWE producer that in less than 1 month came up with This Is Your Life Bayley and that clusterfuck disaster Noam Dar and Alicia Fox FaceTime segment on Raw. With fucking Alicia Fox on the phone, like the fucking poor ripoff of fucking Tyler Breeze, where she's on the screen. No, Dar, I got neck pains, Dar. Stop. Stop. Am I getting you aggravated right now? Stop. Stop.
Yes, it's very
I have to do it 14 more times to catch up to her. That is horrendous. That is garbage. I'm watching this and I'm, look, I've been a wrestling fan since 79, and I know that there's been segments over the years that, misfire and they don't do well and they're not that great. But, I don't know who the fuck in the back could look at that and say, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. That'll get him more over his heels. That is just cringeworthy, pathetic bullshit that I actually would rather just change the channel and not fucking turn back.
Yeah.
So, and Cedric Alexander with the awkward moment in the night. Noam Dar is cutting his promo. I'm serious, everybody, rewind it and watch this back. Cedric Alexander appears on the TV. And what do a lot of baby faces do when they enter a TV screen and during a segment? They look at the ceiling.
Right.
And they pause. And they wait for the crowd pop. And then they cut their promo. So what happens tonight? Noam Dar says his stupid shit.
Right.
Cedric Alexander enters the TV screen.
Right.
He pauses. He looks at the ceiling. No crowd reaction whatsoever.
No, none.
It was terrible.
And what about someone posted on my wall, there was no sound of silence more than when Emma came out.
Yeah.
The fans just don't care, guys. I'm sorry. You could say, oh, Emma is great. The fans just don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Emma they just didn't care. And what do you do about something like that? What can you do?
And almost as bad, we learned tonight that Big Kaz cannot multitask. He was selling the neck shot, the head shot, the whole match. He looked like what happens when you take Joey 924 out of his wheelchair. He's like stumbling. Nah, motherfucker says shit about me. Not lately, but anyway. He's stumbling around. He looks like that he's on fucking 55 painkillers. He can't even stand up straight. He looks like he's pissed drunk. And then the Big Show, I'm serious, everyone, rewind this back and watch it. Big Show enters the ring, consoles Enzo, and all of a sudden, Big Kaz, I can't multitask. I can't sell the neck injury and look jealous at the same time. For about 25 seconds, he's just staring at Big Show. Jealous anger. And it was like, fuck, I forgot I'm supposed to have a head and neck injury too. I sound like Joey Numbers with his impersonations, but shout out to Joey Numbers. But seriously, look at that again. When Big Show enters the ring, fucking Big Cass completely forgets that he's got a head and a neck injury from moments ago, and he's just staring fucking Big Show like some fucking dickhead in Howard Beach staring at my girlfriend. Can't multitask.
No, and this is a continuing pattern, as we talked about, DT, of NXT guys who everyone is duking, all the new fans and push this one and this one. And when the push comes to shove or stuff that they should know, I mean, almost like when, in Keith Hernandez, DT, you love watching the coverage when Hernandez and Gary and Ron and Keith gets on players about being able to do the basics of stuff that you should know. This is the major leagues. You ever see when Keith Hernandez gets on guys for not being able to run the bases and stuff? It reminds me of some of these NXT people. They just, as over as they were and great in NXT and Bayley, it's like, what the fuck? What did you learn down there, with these – the looking to the camera, not being able to sell or, like you said, multitask or be able to, have the right expression when you're cutting a promo or look in pain or sell. I mean, what the fuck are they teaching them down there?
You remember a couple of weeks ago we said WWE needs to have a meeting with the entire roster and emphasize fuck the in-ring work, fuck the fucking, moves, sell psychology, sell common fucking sense. I'll give you another one. I wrote this earlier too. Maryse, she gets knocked off the ring and she's selling this fucking massive pain to a gluteus maximus in her leg.
Right.
So what does she do? Let me walk to the back even faster.
Yes.
I mean, instead of fucking like looking like Big Kaz, or just fucking like falling on the floor or like almost crying in pain, she starts walking to the back even faster. I mean, this is just, look, there were parts of Raw that I liked tonight. The pull apart with Joe and Lesnar did what it was supposed to do. It was good. I mean, a good pull apart, you really can't screw up, but that was good. Joe was on point with his mic work later on in the night. You know, Brock Lesnar should have been seen in the back tearing shit apart, trying to get
he should have been a little bit more mad and shit.
You know, it was like, show up, fucking do the pull apart, and then let me go to fucking Ground Round or fucking, Starbucks. I mean, where was he the rest of the night? You know what I mean? It like disappeared, and I agree, the Drifter, I'm digging it. I'm liking it.
Can you picture that? Like when he says, "Who wants to walk with Elias?" Eventually, when he gets over, that could be a big catchphrase. Eventually,
maybe.
if he gets over,
maybe. But I like what they're doing with him.
He's aggressive in the ring. He's got the skills. Like I said, the gimmick is interesting. I like the fact that Booker T puts him over and Corey Graves doesn't. They have the little thing going on there in the booth when he's on. Corey Graves not a fan. Booker T is overly talking about him. And and it's funny because Corey Graves is a heel announcer, but he's not big on the Drifter. Mm-hmm. And the Drifter is clearly a heel. So that's an interesting way to go. There's a few bright spots, but DT, like you said, a lot of these NXT, I think, is it a meeting for the whole crew, DT, or is it mostly the NXT people?
It's the whole crew. And, not everybody, look, anybody that has a job, you could be in the job for 20 years. There's stuff called refresher course. Me as an insurance broker in New York, and people don't know this, but it's true. I've been an insurance broker since 1998. I'm approaching 20 years next year. And every 2 years, I have to go to continuing education in order to renew my license. I have to do it every 2 years. I have to keep doing refresher courses. I got to keep, re-educating myself. I mean, not everybody on the roster needs to improve, but I got news for you. The more the veterans on the roster and the ones that are actually doing it right, like Miz and some others, they could speak up and voice opinion, this and that. And I think the reason why they don't do that is because, look, imagine yourself being on the WWE main roster and they have this big meeting with the entire roster about improving this and improving that, improving this, and one of your fellow, comrades speaks up and then they say something to criticize you. You know what I mean? Like nobody has the balls or the, the environment to actually speak up and say, hey, look, I think maybe that, and what's going to happen. Who the fuck are you to tell me? Or I think just WWE, I've been saying it for a long time. They're lazy. They're careless. There's no competition. Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, New Japan, they fill a niche